Number 1. Hide and Go Seek. Submitted by Team Shadow Wind. Edward tried to keep his breath as steady as possible, but catching a glimpse of Mary's red dress through the slats of the closet door brought intense anxiety. He clenched his eyes shut, hoping she'd go away. He'd heard them, the shrieks and cries of horror, right before the silence, before it happened again. He kept counting on his fingers of how many party guests Mary had found. 7 so far. He was the last one. He quickly grew uncomfortable in his position, but he couldn't tell if Mary had left or not. He strained his ears, hearing the faint sounds in the accompanying room. "Edward," whispered a tiny voice. He grasped in fear, a deadly reflex he soon found out as the footsteps turned back towards the closet. Bright light filled the tiny closet as Mary slammed the doors. She roughly shoved the coats aside, revealing a terrified Edward who had pissed himself. She slipped a knife out of her dress pocket and took a moment to relish the panicked look in the eyes. She gently tugged at his collar before violently slitting his throat. He didn't have time to scream. She didn't stop there. She stabbed into his delicate frame until the blood puddle was large enough to stain the lovely hardwood. She released his collar, letting him slip into the floor. She nodded to herself before heading to the bathroom. Blood oozed from the lower cabinet where Lou had hidden herself. Mary washed the blood off of her hands, then the knife. She walked down the hall, sidestepping yet another puddle of blood. Harry had tried to conceal himself among the linen. Her grin grew wider, and she skipped past her bedroom, where Jenny had giggled from her position under the bed. 10 minutes prior, Mary ran down the stairs 2 at a time, quickly moving past the spot where Clara had tried to hide, the closet under the stairs. She ran past the back door, where a glance out the window revealed blood-stained greenery, where even William hadn't been able to avoid getting caught. She paused at the entrance of the drawing room, where Billy had tried to hide under Daddy's special drawing desk. Daddy would be mad about the mess, she thought, but figured Daddy would forgive her for today. She rounded the corner and headed into the kitchen where Gus had foolishly attempted to hide under the table. She ignored him, placing herself in a seat and eagerly reached out for a plate and fork, before using her special knife to claim a slice of heavenly dessert sitting on the table, which she believed she had completely earned. "I win," Mary mumbled. She took a bite out of the birthday cake she had fully intended to keep for herself. She didn't even care that she had ruined her white dress. Just putting it together. Dead Man. Submitted by Sweetest Ghost. I'm on my way to work, just like I used to. Step into the office and say hi to my colleagues. I start my computer. A familiar person and an older gentleman comes up and asks me how I am doing. I don't know what to answer. I feel sick, then I wake up, relax, only a nightmare. It's quite dark, and it takes a while before my eyes adjust to the darkness, and then I realize where I am, still in the coffin, still in the grave. I can feel them inside me. Submitted by Alice_Dare. I am terribly ill. My guts are infested. Am I dying from 1,000 bites? Over these many years, the rotting inside me has deepened to a chronic pitch, and I am alone in my aching, itching struggle. On the outside, I try to keep up appearances. I stand up straight and I don't bemoan my pain, but I can feel the parasites, each of them carving bits from my form, stabbing into me, marking me, eating me alive. They are like 1,000 trifling cancers. Hate for them consumes my every conscious thought, but there is no way I found to destroy them. Nights are less painful, but during the day, I can feel them moving in me, scratching and excreting and destroying. They make my body reek, and I am ashamed. The tiny monsters have no respect for my existence, except as require it for their own. I despise them and long for the summer, for in the summer the children leave, and I stand in the blissful silence that a regal schoolhouse merits. My hometown, submitted by Drastic Memories. To anyone who receives this letter, the people of my town have been acting strangely ever since our new mayor took over. About 6 months ago, we had an election for a new mayor. Once he won by the astounding number of votes, everything changed. We weren't allowed to leave our town. Weren't allowed to use phones, and we could only watch pre-approved TV shows and commercials. Music was absolutely out of the question. The police force, once small, grew by over 100%. All of the men above 18 years old were forced to become an officer. The women above 18 were holding the other jobs of the economy. He also extended school hours from 7 o'clock to 14:30 to 7 o'clock to 1900 every night. This was an absolute nightmare for me. After a while, once people got used to new laws and changes, people started acting differently. Instead of being friendly with one another, people started becoming very aggressive towards anyone who was not blood related to them. I couldn't even keep friends in school because no one could stand up to be around each other. About a month after people started hating everyone, the citizens started disappearing by the dozen. First all of the elderly went missing. Then anyone who had an education past high school, and finally anyone who was convicted of a crime in their past. Our population went from 20,000 people to almost 1,000 in the span of 6 months. But that is not why I'm writing you today. I'm writing you today because of something new that has been going on. The adults who were left behind started acting violent to anyone and anything. One morning when I woke up, I saw my mom face down in her cereal bowl. I shook her gently, and she woke and backhanded me so hard that I fell down. She continued to eat her cereal. My father also has taken up beating my mom every chance he gets. He beat me badly once, but I hide every time he comes home. The other townspeople have all but given up on their jobs and just wander the streets aimlessly, fighting anyone who gets in their way. I honestly have no idea what's going on. There are rumors of adults eating their children, several murder-suicides, and a lot of the population has left their home and they just wander the streets. I have no idea what I have not been affected by. Whatever has been happening, please, if anyone receives this letter, send help. The Return, submitted by Kevin 69138. I awoke sweating profusely. I jumped out of the bed, only to realize it was a dream. I walked over to the bathroom to splash water in my face, thinking to myself, since I'm up, I might as well have a snack and watch TV. I stumble through the dark hallway and make my way into the kitchen. A huge drop in room temperature as I enter and attempt to flick the lights on. Standing on the top of the kitchen table, it has returned.